Hi everyone, it's Taylor here today, and I would like to share with you 4 quick techniques you can use with embossing folders. So first I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock that I've embossed with our Graphic Impressions birthday embossing folder. I have my blender brushes and I'm using them to brush ink across the embossed design. Now when you do that, the ink adheres to the raised portions of the cardstock, really drawing out whatever words or design you've embossed onto your cardstock. You can try this with tons of different colors and all of your embossing folders to create a really neat effect in the background of your project. So the next technique I'm going to share with you is applying ink directly to the embossing folder. Here I'm applying it to the top of the embossing folder with a brayer, just making sure I get a nice even coat of ink all the way across that. I'm using guava ink here, which is a pretty vibrant color. You'll see when I grab my piece of paper then, I'm going to put that right over the inked portion and close the lid of my embossing folder, taking it to my die cut machine and running it through in order to press the ink into the open spaces of the design. You can see when I pull that out here, what that looks like with the ink pressed into the paper and the white portions are raised. With this next technique, I will create a bit of a patchwork here using 1 by 1 inch squares of cardstock, adhering them to a 4 by 4 inch piece of sugar cube cardstock. Once I have my patchwork created, I will put that entire piece into an embossing folder. I really like our cable knit for this type of project because it's going to end up looking a little bit quilted or fabric-like. Once we put that through the embossing machine, you can see the really cool effect. It looks like a seamless emboss across several different colors, but it was really just one trip through the machine. For this last technique, I've embossed our watercolor cardstock with the herringbone embossing folder, and I'm using liquid watercolor and a water brush to paint within the recessed openings. I'm not painting the portions that are pressed up into the paper. I'm only painting into the recessed portions. You'll see when all of it gets finished, I'll be left with a white outline around each color. I've used 4 different colors of liquid watercolor. I have lemon meringue, guava, pea pod, and then very diluted lollipop. So I put a lot of extra water in the lollipop color in order to make it a very light pink. So that's what I'm finishing with here, is that very light pink color. And then you can see in between all of these portions that I've painted is the white outline. So that's actually the design that has been pressed into your cardstock, and you're using that as a guide to create a background piece. Hopefully these quick tips have given you some ideas to use with your embossing folders. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.